Welcome to Amanda Hall's Psychic Mini Workshop Series, directly after my show out of the Washington District in the US of A on A1R Psychic Radio on Moonstruck TV. I want to welcome everybody here on this lovely Wednesday afternoon here from the Gold Coast. My name's Amanda Hall Psychic. Welcome to the show. Each week we do a little mini workshop where we focus on education in a way that hopefully it'll enhance your life, bring some more intent, purpose and direction into this world of yours. Now, this is not a show where I do free readings, so I will clear that up straight away. I do a couple of free readings around the world on my previous show on A1R Psychic Radio. My intent here on my Facebook Live mini workshop series is to educate. So I want to welcome everybody again. If you've just joined us, my name's Amanda Hall Psychic. I'm all the way from the Gold Coast. I've been in the psychic industry over 40 years in Australia here. I was inducted into the Psychic Hall of Fame, and for the 4th year in a row, I've been voted by the public as Australian Psychic of the Year. So I want to welcome you, and I hope you can join us this afternoon. I will not be giving shout outs to people that are watching the show live, but I will personally answer a little message if you leave something on the comments box during the course of the workshop. So without further ado, let's get some little T's and C's out of the road. If you want to purchase anything, you can head to my website, amandahallpsychic.com.au. And when you're there, if you type in capital letters Facebook into the coupon box, you will get a little discount on all our products and services. So without further ado, this week's mini workshop, and boy has the time gone quick, we're up to workshop number 13. We're going to be working with the star sign of Taurus. Now, for those of you that are a Taurus, happy birthday, because it's your special time of the year. For those of you that may want to sort of just understand about your Taurian family or friends, or just a little bit curious about the Taurian energy, then you're in the right spot. So Taurus is number 2 sign of the zodiac. It is an earth sign. It's a practical sign. It governs things like fixed stability in our lives. So it's an earth sign, it's fixed, it's passive, and it's also very downright stubborn. So for those of you that might know Taurians, I'm going to say to you, some of the things are going to be a little bit funny, some are going to be a little bit insulting, but that's the way I like to educate people, is if we can keep it lighthearted and fun and a few key words that you'll remember, you're more inclined to think, oh yes, that's my Taurian brother, I can see that in him. So Taurus is the bull. It is an earth sign, and it is a sign that likes to be fed. Now, if you think of a bull in a paddock grazes all day. They don't have a big meal. They're continually grazing throughout the day. But very few Taurians are very happy if you give them a salad for tea. So if you look at a Taurus as being a big burly bull, somebody that's slow, deliberate, definite, they need a good solid meal at the end of the day, and a salad is only considered a side dish, then you've won your way to their heart. But the most important thing to a Taurus besides stability is money. Money is the most important thing in their life, and it's mine. It's all mine. Money is what makes the world go round, and Taurians, I believe, probably invented recycling. Purely not out of being conscious of the planet, but purely out of saving money. Because if they could find a way to reuse something, repurpose something, or not throw it out and get an extra 2 or 3 weeks or an extra year or an extra 10 years out of it, then it saves them sticking their hand in their pocket and reaching for some money to purchase something new. So it's a very important part of their ethos, I suppose, is that they like to recycle, they like to reuse, and they don't like to waste. When I think of Taurians, I always think of somebody that's maybe a little bit shorter in stature, a little bit stockier built, somebody that can have a beautiful speaking voice and quite often a beautiful singing voice, because Taurus rules the throat. The ears, nose and throat is the part of the body that Taurians rule. So it stands to reason that they would have a beautiful singing voice. And it's also a sign to me that slows everything down after the rip, shit and bust and going fast and doing everything at a frantic pace of Aries. We just sort of exhale and we slow everything down and we say, okay, time to contemplate, time to think, time to be a little bit more steady, time to look at our finances, time to look at how we can put some long range plans in place. Let's put some rock solid foundations underneath the projects that we're building upon, and then you have a Taurus. So you have a Taurian that sort of quite often likes fine jewelry. And that's really interesting because Taurians do like delicate things. And even though they like the earthy colours like your greens, your browns, your charcoals, all those sort of earthy tones, they also are very well known for their pastels. They love the very pretty pastel pink, the peaches, the creams, the apricots, the very soft and gentle, luxurious types of colours. And Taurians are well known for loving luxury. Even though they might be a big raging bull, they like somewhere comfortable to sit. And they're the type of people that would invest, and I use the word invest, not spend, invest a large quantity of money in buying a really, really good, well-made, solid couch, bearing in mind they're going to expect it to last a lifetime. They're not looking to be trendy and throw it out in a year or 2 or 5 years and replace it. They would expect this lounge to be as good in 30 years' time as it was the day they bought it, because they invested a substantial amount of money. So quite often you'll find Taurians will go without and save up and only pay cash. They don't like credit unless they have to invest in a piece of furniture which is an investment piece as far as they're concerned. Yes, it's practical, it's luxurious, it's comfortable, but it must also be there for a very, very long time. So when we look at Taurians and we look at Taurians in love, yes, they love the romantic candlelit dinners. I mean, the quickest way to a Taurian's heart is cook them a beautiful home-cooked meal with the candles and the soft furnishings and lots of comfortable furniture. And don't forget the wine should flow and so should the food. Don't forget the sweets, because they do have a rather sweet tooth. So that's the way to their heart. But you're also not to be extravagant. You know, don't go and buy caviar trying to impress them. You will impress them more with a rock solid, all wholesome cooked home meal of some substance. You know, a good old fashioned stew or a roast dinner will probably impress them more than a little bowl of caviar. So bear that in mind. But you also have to understand the Taurian energy is about what's mine's mine and what's yours is mine, and I own it and it's mine. They don't like to share. They find it very, very difficult to share. They are a sign that can be a little bit on the possessive side, and they do tend to look at the people that are special in their lives, their partners, their wives, their husbands, their children, their family, as almost being a possession, not a person, and they don't like to share them either. They like them to be admired, but don't touch, and I'm certainly not going to share. And certainly the same is said for money. A Taurian will always have money in the bank for a rainy day. But the thing is, the rainy day never comes, and they're always looking to add or increase that balance that they've got of the rainy day fund in case of the emergency. They really do get very upset if they don't have a minimum of $2,000 or $3,000 or $4,000 in the bank. They're very, very broke. To someone else, being broke is I've got a few dollars in my purse. To them, anything less than $3,000 in the bank, I'm really broke. So just be aware of that. They're not liars. They're people that like to tell the truth, but they only tell you what they feel that you need to know. They're not necessarily going to volunteer things, and they may be said at times to sit there and sort of be in deep thinking before they give you an answer. And that's because they're looking to give you precision. They're not looking to give you any more or any less than what you need. So why would we fall in love with a Taurian? Well, of course, they've got lots of wonderful, beautiful qualities too. I mean, you know, they usually have a very good speaking voice. They're very loyal. When they fall in love, they take their time. It's a very slow process, but when they do fall in love, they really fall in love. And they very rarely ever let go of that love. And even when love dies and they should move on, they're still holding on to love, or what could have been or what should have been, and the mystique of what they thought the love relationship was. And this is where they start to become a little bit jealous, a little bit possessive, and a little bit, this is mine. So that can be a little bit tricky if for some reason the love affair or the romance or the marriage goes sour and you need to extricate yourself from that relationship. Just bear in mind, you've got to ease yourself out of it gently, because they've got to take their time to get used to the fact of the relationship or the marriage has come to an end, because they never get married or go into a serious relationship expecting it to end in anything other than happiness. That's just their ethos. So just be very aware of that. They have a very good sixth sense when it comes to real estate deals, to money, to big business. They may take a long time before they commit and sign on the dotted line and drive everybody nuts asking a lot of questions. And, you know, what about clause A, 2, B, Z? You know, I didn't quite like that end there, and shouldn't it have been a but? But, you know, once we get that all sorted out, it's usually then, once they've committed and they've signed on the dotted line, a wild team of horses won't keep them away from seeing it through to the end. So they're not the type of people that necessarily motivate people and get them up dancing in the aisles, but what they are is the person that you go to if you want some rock solid advice, or you want some guidance or some direction, or particularly financial direction. Go and see a Taurus, because they usually have their fingers on the pulse as far as personal finances are concerned, and where money trends are going, and how to make money and how to stretch money. They're very, very, very good at budgeting of everything, whether it's resources, money, people, time. They're very excellent at that. But also you will sort of find that they are the sort of people that are very steady. They take their time. They usually don't get angry. If you get a Taurian angry, then watch out, because it's not just a flippity gibbet sort of, spur of the moment anger. This is a white anger. This is an anger that goes on and on and on, and watch out. It's a dangerous type of anger. So you don't want to ever get a Taurian to that boiling point, or it'll be more than the bull in the china shop, let me assure you. They are faithful lovers. They don't like to think that you're being unfaithful or flirting or sharing your wisdom or your laughter or your vivacious personality with someone else. It's supposed to be only for them. They make great parents. They make great teachers. They make great people that sort of steady the ship. If a project needs somebody positive and strong at the helm to guide it through tough waters, or to bring it to a conclusion, then hire a Taurus every single time. So they are nice people. There's nothing wrong with them. So if you're looking to bring in some more stability or some more Taurian energy into your life, can I suggest that you would purchase one of our earth sign candles, which is designed for the earth energy, which is Taurus, Virgo and Capricorn. But we're focusing today on Taurus. So this is the energy that, if I was looking to bring some longer range projects into my life, I would start working with my earth sign candle. So what I would start to do is start to write a list of not necessarily immediate projects that I'm working on, unless they're very close to completion and they just need a little bit more of a push, or need a little bit of stability, or need a little bit of research, or just that final sort of something to get it across the line. Then we'd put that on the list. But I'd be more working with things that we're working on that are longer range, something that may still be in the incubator stage, something that's just a thought bubble that we've got to do research on, we've got to get pricing, we've got to do some R&D on, we've got to talk to people, we've got to see whether it's feasible, we've got to crunch the numbers. All those sort of things would be Taurian type projects. It would be about sitting down, working out exactly what it is that we hope to achieve, bearing in mind we need to leave our list flexible, because we may be adding and subtracting things as we go along. As we do more research, more questions will come to mind, more things that need to be answered. And it's also how we're going to raise the finances for this. Also, you need to bear in mind the Taurian energy is about personal value systems, the things that we live our lives by. So there may be taking it away from a finance or a project issue, you may be working on making some changes in your life in regarding to how you present yourself to the world. And if you feel that you need more of a point of focus, that's the sort of thing you'd write on your list to put under your earth sign candle. Now, how do we work with an earth sign candle? I would suggest that we'd work for a minimum of 7 days with our list, reading it out aloud before we light the candle. Lighting the candle from 15 minutes to 2 hours per day is my recommended. Please never leave a candle unattended, under curtains, under an air conditioner, under a fan, around children or pets. We need to be aware we are playing with fire. When we light a candle, it is fire. The glass container itself will get hot, but the soy wax does not get hot. So from my suggestion would be place something else underneath the candle, between that and the piece of furniture that you're going to put it on. Then putting down first your list, read it out aloud, put your list down, put your coaster down, then put your candle down, and then light it. Or you could have a secondary list that you can read out, and just as you're lighting the candle, you've already got everything set up, and you can burn your candle for 15 minutes to 2 hours a day. So these candles will burn somewhere between 60 to 100 hours, depending on how you look after your candle and keep your wicks trimmed. I like to, as they're a dual side candle, a dual wick, I burn one side one day and burn the other side the next day. I know that might sound like I'm being a little bit too much of a Taurian, but I just sort of feel you get a more clean burn that way. You're not wasting your resources of your candle, and you still get the same power out of it. It's just with it being in a bigger container, it needs 2 wicks to utilize the maximum usage of our soy wax to burn down. And I always suggest purchase one of those melt warmers. You can get an electric melt warmer from the supermarket now for around $20. So any leftover wax you've got when your candles have been burnt, you can apply the same principle in your melt warmer. And for some people that say to me, look, I like the candles, I love the candles, but I can't always be there with the flame. Can I do exactly the same thing with the melt warmer as I would do as if I'm burning the candle? The answer is yes. And you can have the melt warmer burning safely in your office or in your home for hours upon hours, as long as you've gone through the same ritual of reading out what your intent, purpose, and direction is for the actual wax. You can place that underneath your melt warmer as well. So for those of you that might want a travel pack, or want to take one to work, or only have a very small workstation, we have a travel pack which has 3 candles in it. These candles will burn up to 15 hours each. These again are in glass, so same principles apply. I'm not putting them directly onto furniture. You will find that with these you can pick any one of the candles of your choice. We have 28 in our range, so they don't all have to be earth sign. You might say, I want an earth sign, I want a full moon, I want a love candle. That's fine. At the checkout, you have the opportunity to pick your own gift box set, and that's another wonderful alternative. So for those of you that may want to know a little bit more about yourself, and we have a wonderful offer this week for all our viewers, if you want to head to my website, amandahallpsychic.com.au, and if you sign up and join our free newsletter, by joining our free newsletter and becoming part of the Amanda Hall Psychic family, we will give you the opportunity to get free of charge your very own personal astrology chart. And no, you don't have to know your birth time. If you do, even better. But if you don't, all it's required is your name, your date of birth, the place of birth, and the time if known, and your country. And we will be happy to send you a PDF or on an email your very, very own astrology chart personally for you, somewhere between 16 to 30 pages, valued at $30, and it's free. You can tell your friends, you can join up, you can join the whole family up if you like. As long as everybody's got an email address, you can join and follow the links through. You'll get some emails after you've joined, welcoming you, telling you how to go about registering for your free chart. Your free chart will be emailed to you within 48 hours. So I'd like to welcome you and give you that opportunity. It's free of charge. You're under no obligation to buy anything. I want to be very clear about that. All it is by being part of our little family, you'll get some regular emails telling you what's been on the mini workshop series, what I've done on A1R Psychic Radio, what we've coming up, what the weekly blog is, and you'll get to know that there'll be some special offers that will be purely just for our Amanda Hall Psychic family. So it is free to join. It is free to get your astrology chart. You're under no obligation to stay with us for years to come just because you got a free chart. I'm not going to be offended if you get the free chart and 3 weeks time you think, oh, this is really not for me. Thanks, Amanda, but I'm off. That's okay too. So for those of you that may want to book a reading with me, again, you can head to my website. You'll find a little button that says book a reading. That takes you through to your choices there. Don't forget, when you get to the checkout, type in the word Facebook in capital letters in the coupon box, and you will get a discount off anything. And I mean anything, whether it's candles, readings, astrology charts, products, courses, any promotions that we have, you will get a little discount there as my way of saying thank you for joining into our workshop. So each week we work with a different energy. Next week on the show, I'm going to be working with the new moon in Taurus. Now that will go right across the board for any star sign. It'll be how we're going to handle the new moon in our chart. What do we need to do? How do we need to prepare for the new moon? What can we expect out of the new moon? And how is it going to affect us? So I'd just like to take this opportunity again to thank you all for joining me here. If you want to go back and binge watch or watch this episode again because you only caught the tail end of it, I do have a Facebook group set up called Amanda Hall Psychic Shows/Workshop, and you'll find all the previous shows and all the previous workshops there. It will take me probably another 24 hours to upload today's work, so just be patient on that, but I will get to it as quickly as possible. And as I said, I really welcome any insight or any personal messages that you want to share with me, subjects that you would like me to cover on this mini workshop series. As I said, over on A1R Psychic Radio at high noon or 12 o'clock Queensland time in Australia on a Wednesday afternoon is when I do the show there. We have a different formula there. We have the Simply Tarot card of the week, the candle of the week that we work with on the workshop series. We also have a glimpse around the universe. We have a mini astrology lesson, and we take 2 callers from around the world for a free reading. So I'd like to take this opportunity to thank you for joining us. I hope you have an absolutely awesome day, and bye for now.